Hello, fellow RV travelers and future fellow RV travelers. Today, I'm going to show you how to winterize your own camper and perhaps save yourself $90 to $100+. Last week, I showed you this process on our Class C. Today, I'm going to show you the same process on this travel trailer. And basically we work through the same process. We make sure that our holding tanks are dumped, and I'm going to show you the external holding tank release valve for the travel trailer. We make sure that our water heater is drained, and then we make sure that all our connections to the fresh water for the water heater are turned off and the bypass is on, and then we fill the lines with the winterizing fluid. So I'm going to move around and show you how we do this, and hopefully you'll be able to winterize your own camper and save some money. All right, let's get to it. So this is the location for the hot water heater on the travel trailer. It's at the rear of the travel trailer near the entry doorway. Yours will likely be located somewhere else, but a good way to find it is almost always written on them is a word that says hot, and you've got one of these little twisty knobs to release it. So you twist the knob, spring loaded, and then you come down and there is the water heater. Now, before you start messing with your water heater, you want to release the pressure. There should be little to no pressure in this one because I just barely put a little bit of water. So you heard that little hiss, that was the water pressure. That was air pressure coming out of that valve. But if you had hot water in your hot water tank and you pulled up and did that release, water would come out this little faucet area right here. So you can see right here is the little faucet area, and water would come out of there. Hot water if you don't let it cool. So you definitely want to let your hot water heater cool for a day or so before you start messing with it and perhaps scald yourself with hot water. So you don't want that. Okay, then you've got a little drain plug in your hot water heater. This is mine right here. All right, and that's what this little tool comes in handy for, because you have to get around this heat disperser, and you work this by putting this on the little, and there's two sides, so if one side doesn't fit, which that side was a little bit tight, go to the other side. All right, and so you put it on and you loosen it, and you put it on and you loosen it. Now I've pre-loosened this quite a bit so I can just twist it with my hand. And again, this water heater has not been on for weeks, so the water in here, which will only be a little bit because I just put it in to show you how to do this, will come on out. And you saw, even with releasing the pressure, you probably heard that little pop of air. It was more pressure coming out. So I'm going to pause this because you're just seeing water run out, and that's not very entertaining. But that's how you drain the water out of your hot water tank. So I'm going to pause it and we'll come back when we're ready to move on. Okay, so the water has pretty much stopped coming out of the water heater, and now I'm going to put that little plug back in and just put it in so that it's there for the next season in the spring. When it's time to use this camper again, the plug will be there, and we'll put the plumber's tape on it so that it doesn't leak. But right now I'm just going to store it screwed in, hand tight. All right, I'm going to stop the camera and use two hands, and then we'll start back up. Okay, the little drain plug valve is back in. It's just finger tight. if we were putting this in to refill the hot water tank, we would want to use our handy dandy little wrench tool and tighten that all the way up. But again, this is just for the winter. There's nothing going to be in that tank, so just having it in there is good enough. All right, we'll go inside next. No, we're going to go and I'm going to show you the freshwater drain point. All right, we'll be over there in a minute. All right, folks, so now we're on the other side of the RV, the driver's side of the RV, and this freshwater low point drain valve is actually under the trailer. So come under, and there it is right there, that little white knob pointing down. Is this it right here? So when I want to drain the fresh water tank without pumping it all through the toilet or a sink or a shower, I just come here and unscrew this and you'll see water come out, and then I'm going to quickly get out of the way because I don't want to get wet by the water that's draining. So we just unscrew it and the water starts draining. All right, mostly gone. I guess the little bit that was left pumped over into the hot water heater so I could show you that water coming out. So when this is drained, which it's drained because no more water is coming out, right? Nothing in there is going to freeze and break this plastic tank. They just put the cap back on, screw it on, hand tight, and that's good enough to hold the 40 gallons of water inside that tank if I were going to fill the tank up. But I'm not, because we're winterizing and we don't want any water in the tanks. Now again, your drain point was most likely somewhere else. You have to know where that is on your RV and be able to drain it yourself. Remember, on the Class C, it was on the outside, and I showed you where the little knob was where we used to drain that tank. But this one right here, underneath the trailer. Okay, I'm going to turn the video off and we'll go inside and take a look at where the water pump is on this travel trailer. All right, we'll see you inside. All right, here we are inside. My water pump on this travel trailer is underneath the jackknife sofa. So the jackknife sofa is jacked up right now, and there is the water pump right down here. Okay, there's the water pump right there. And then here's all the hoses. This hose right here is the one that we are going to put into the winterization fluid and pump through the travel trailer up to the sink and back into the bathroom, to the toilet, the sink, and the shower back in the bathroom. All right, so the first thing we got to do is make sure that all of our switches and knobs are turned the other way. Remember, I told you last week about turning the other way to stop the flow or to start the flow, depending on what you needed to do. And so that's what we'll do here. We'll make sure that all the valves are set properly. It's right here. So right now it is in line with the water pump and the water holding tank hose, which is right here. I don't know if you can see me pointing to it right here. And so I'm going to turn that valve the other way. Now it is not perpendicular to this hose back here. it is, no, it is not parallel. It is perpendicular. So it's the other way. It's blocking anything coming out of the holding tank. And now we will only be sucking stuff through this hose here. Right, here's that hose. This hose will be sucking the winterization fluid, and I will turn this camera off and get the hose set up in the winterizing fluid, and then we'll pick it up from there. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, the hose is in the winterizing fluid. Oh, now I'm going to turn on the water pump. My water pump is located right here. And you can see the liquid being pumped out of the winterizing container. And now I'm going to turn on, well actually I'm going to stop this, okay, because in my haste to get going, I did not block the hot water heater. So we don't want winterization fluid pumping into that hot water heater, which now I have to go out and check and see if I did that and drain it out if I did. So I'm going to go out, check that. Hopefully we did not pump any in. If we did, it's nothing that can't be overcome. Just mildly embarrassing to do it on a video of how to winterize your tank or your trailer. All right, fortunately, there is no pink fluid coming out of that water. You can see some of it coming down there. So we were just pushing water through the line right now. All right, well that drains. We're going to come in here and we're going to get those bypass valves turned off. Now, remember in the Class C, all those valves were under the kitchen sink. But here in the travel trailer, they're behind this little piece of board, right? Blocked off. It doesn't say anywhere on there. Last week I told you, oh, you'll probably see a sticker or something that says not a storage compartment. Well, there's no sticker like that on this one, but that's where the water heater is. So I use just a power tool because it's easier, and I unscrew the 4 bolts and remove that panel, which is boring to watch. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn the video off. I'm going to get that panel removed and then show you inside. All right, see you in a minute. All right, there is the water heater. That's the hot water heater for this travel trailer. That panel has been removed. There's the 4 screws. There's the panel on the floor right there. There's the wonderful tool that I use. Now, you can see in the back line there, pink fluid. That is winterizing fluid that we just pumped over there. So we were real close to pumping winterizing fluid into the hot water heater, but we did not because we checked over here, remember? And there was no pink fluid coming out. So, good for us. Now, it's the same process in here as with everywhere else. You want to get the valve knobs, like this one right here, right, turned the other way. So right now, this bypass valve is blocking the bypass. This valve down here is allowing water or liquid into the hot water heater. So this is the first one that I'm going to turn and block any liquid. It's hard to turn that one. Block any liquid from coming into the hot water heater. So I know you can't really see that valve. There it is better, that little knob sticking up. is now blocking any liquid from going into the hot water heater. All right, I just turned it up, whereas before it had been parallel to the line. It is now perpendicular, blocking it. But now I want that fluid to continue moving through the RV, so I need to open the bypass valve, which is right here. So right now it's closed. It's perpendicular to the pipe. So I am going to turn it. It is now running parallel with the pipe, and that will allow the fluid to move through, to bypass the water heater here and move through the rest of the travel trailer. And we should see pink in that second pipe when we come back to this. There should be pink. All right, so I'm going to turn the video off, and then we're going to go back and restart the pumping of the winterizing fluid. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, I turned the water pump on again, and with that bypass valve open and the knob blocking the water into the water heater, the pump pumped the winterizing fluid up the bypass valve and down into the return line. So now you see both those lines have winterizing fluid in them. And so I'm going to go back to the kitchen sink and get that winterized, and then we'll go in the bathroom and do that. So we'll see you over at the kitchen sink. All right, here we are at the kitchen sink. The water pump is on. The hose and winterizing fluid are still together, and you can see how much of that bottle has been used already. So now we're going to turn on the kitchen sink, the cold water, and we're going to let it run until the winterizing fluid. There it is. So that's good. That line is winterized. Now we're going to do the same thing with the hot water. I'm going to turn that on and let it run until the purple water comes out. We're clearing out all the fresh water from the line right now. And there we have the winterizing fluid. So turn the hot water off. So cold water, pink, good. Hot water, pink, good. So we turn them back off. Okay. Let's go in here to the bathroom with the bathroom faucet. We'll go hot water, flushing out all the clear water, pink, good. We'll do the cold water, flushing out all pink, good. Okay, still got water in the tank there. Well, now we will do the toilet. Okay, get a little flush going on the toilet, pink, good. Okay, now we've got to do the shower. And okay, got the little plug up, and now we do the same thing with the bathtub. I'm going to turn on the hot water. Get the pink fluid flowing. There it is. Good. Check our bottle. It's almost empty. Okay, maybe we can get this cold water. Nope, we're gonna have to go. I'm gonna go switch out the bottles because this bottle is almost empty. All right. I'm going to switch out the bottles. So I'm going to turn the camera off, switch out the bottles, and then we'll finish up that last bit on the bathtub. Okay, we've got the old bottle switched out with the new bottle. Let's go finish the bathroom. The last thing we got to do. Okay, so we were on the cold water. Cold water. And immediately, there it is. Switched out. Okay, so now we've got some water in the shower line. So we're going to get this shower antifreezed up in there too, just make sure nothing goes wrong. So works just like a regular old. Pull that up. Pink's coming out. Good. Okay, we're going to do the cold line. Pink's coming out. Good. Okay, now you guys may be wondering, what's all that brown crap down in there? Well, that's cat litter. Shouldn't be in there, but it is. Okay, so for the winter, I'm just going to leave this open because in the spring, when I want to fill it up again, I have to go redo everything and change those lines. So, just going to set that back up there like that. There's the screws to them right there. And then in the spring, we will just reverse the process. Again, move the knobs the other way and flush all of the winterizing fluid out of all of the lines and faucets. And then we will sanitize the holding tank and the lines inside the RV. We'll sanitize that with a bleach water mix. And then we will fill it up and have perfectly clean, wonderful drinking water available. And we'll have no freeze problems in the RV over the winter. All right, so there is another winterization project completed. This time being a travel trailer. Again, your water tank drain valve, your hot water heater, the location to the bypass valves, probably in different places than mine have been, but now you understand the principle of how to do it, and perhaps you will decide to winterize your RV yourself and save some money this season. Again, if not, totally up to you. If you're more comfortable taking it in to have it professionally winterized, do that. And as always, read your owner manual if you have any questions, because your owner manual should know a lot more about your RV than I do. All right, we will see you later, RV travelers and future RV travelers. Until then, goodbye.